Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is The Amateur, where we're here just to talk life, hobbies, politics, ideologies, what have you. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about Kathy Barnette. And in the previous video, I played a clip from her. So apparently right now, I think almost everywhere, because it's something about midterm elections, that's like a big thing. The midterm elections are going on, and in Pennsylvania, there's a big commotion because former President Trump has endorsed Dr. Oz as a candidate for the GOP. You know, I'm not really sure what all these things are. So, like, I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about, but I really don't. I'm not, like I've said before, I've only just recently gotten big into politics. I really don't know what the GOP is, so I think it's related mostly to the Republican Party. I'll have to look that up. I'll probably show like a screenshot or something just to say what it is. But it's a big deal because, again, President Trump has this big sway still amongst Republicans. I say Republicans doesn't mean conservative, just to push that out, okay? But he still seems to have this big sway and this big pull, so it was kind of like a big deal that he endorsed Dr. Oz. But Dr. Oz, in his previous past statements, has been very, very liberal. You know, he's been a friend of Oprah. That's kind of how he got his rise to fame. He's very much, at least as far as I've seen, very flippy-floppy on his polls. Doesn't seem to be strongly conservative, just seems to be saying what needs to be said in order to gain votes. So not actually truly believing what it is that people want him to believe to be that representative of those ideals and ideologies and what have you.
The word you'll hear today is transgender. Transgender. It describes people whose sex on the outside doesn't match who they are on the inside. Now imagine your child is transgender. What would you do? Our lives as parents are first defined by the words, it's a girl or it's a boy. Could you make a decision to let your child live as the other sex, even alter their body?
Again, so in my previous video, I came across Kathy Barnette, and then I saw this article that was published by CNN what's today? About 2 days ago. And so I want to read it. I haven't read it yet, but I'm wondering, so the title of the article states, it states, surging GOP candidate Kathy Barnette has long history of bigoted statements against gays and Muslims. All right, so I'm really interested. I'm really interested to read what this has to be said, because obviously CNN is a little bit more leftist, a little bit more liberal than other media outlets, and then obviously in this whole big cancel culture ordeal where people keep continuing to bring up like past grievances or past sins, past transgressions, and using that against them today. Just kind of see how it's spun, but also obviously because Kathy Barnette is a black woman, which is supposed to be the most victimized and the most aggrieved individuals that ever to have crossed in the United States. I'm interested to see how much they either lean on that or say why she is the exception to the rule or something like that. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So this is titled, surging GOP candidate Kathy Barnette has long history of bigoted statements against gays and Muslims. And this was published Friday, May 13th, 2022 by CNN. So surging Pennsylvania GOP Senate candidate Kathy Barnette has a history of anti-Muslim and anti-gay statements. In many tweets, Barnette also spread the false conspiracy theory that former President Barack Obama is a Muslim. In one speech uploaded to YouTube in 2015, Barnette forcefully argued it was okay to discriminate against Muslims and compared rejecting Islam to rejecting Hitler's or Stalin's worldviews. In comments on her radio show, she said accepting homosexuality would lead to the accepting of incest and pedophilia. That one aged pretty well, I would say. Hashtag MAP is supposedly starting to be a thing, or minor attracted people.
According to current research, pedophilia is an unchangeable sexual orientation, just like, for example, heterosexuality. No one chooses to be a pedophile. No one can cease being one. The difference between pedophilia and other sexual orientations is that living out this sexual orientation will end in a disaster.
Pedophilia, minor attracted people, I don't know. One post she wrote called a transgender person deformed and demonic. no comment on that. Barnett surged in recent polls in the upcoming Pennsylvania Republican U.S. Senate primary, putting her in a dead heat between Donald Trump-endorsed former TV star Mehmet Oz and former hedge fund manager David McCormick. The Pennsylvania Senate seat is one of the best. Oh, that was horrible writing. Is one of the best pickup opportunities for Democrats this November, and Barnett's sudden rapid rise is causing worry among Trump allies. So mind you, these are supposed to be Republicans / conservatives or whatever against each other, but supposed Trump allies are worried about Kathy Barnette because I guess just she wasn't endorsed by Trump, and I have no comments as to why. I'm like wondering why Trump has endorsed Oz, because Oz does not seem to align with anything, like firmly align with anything that is supposed to be under the conservative beliefs or Republican beliefs. But I mean, I'm not really Republican, so I don't know. Okay. Barnett has had a quick and unpredicted rise in the polls ahead of next Tuesday's primary. She's the best known as an Army Reserves veteran and conservative political commentator who regularly appeared on Vox, and previously she was the host of a Christian radio show called Truth Exchange, but also had a website where she sometimes blogged. She previously ran for Congress in 2020 in Pennsylvania's 4th Congressional District, but lost to Democratic Rep. Madeline Dean. Barnett's campaign did not respond to CNN's request for comment. So already I kind of like her. Like, I'm not a Pennsylvanian, so, you know, it's all up to the Pennsylvanians to choose who they want to represent them in the Senate, but I don't know, she seems pretty cool to me. Armed Reserve, so that shows she has an understanding of servitude and service, and what it kind of takes to be in the military. Ow. As well as just being, you know, honestly and open about her faith in Christianity. And that kind of, so the thing with that too is to be open about your faith is to also have others hold you accountable and to expect that of others as well. So if you're not acting or comporting in the way that's expected of that behavior, for your brothers and sisters in Christ to call you out on that. So I think that's pretty cool of her. Anyway, so her anti-gay comments. In posts and comments on her radio show, Barnett frequently condemned being gay and transgender. 2 men sleeping together, 2 men holding hands, 2 men caressing, that is not normal, she said on her radio show in July 2015 when a Supreme Court ruling cleared the way for same-sex marriage. On the same show, Barnett argued accepting same-sex marriage would lead to a slippery slope of accepting incest and pedophilia. In an episode that was deleted from her SoundCloud page after CNN's K-File reached out to the Barnett campaign for comment, which, as far as what we're seeing today, it doesn't seem like it's much of a slippery slope, unfortunately. Like, I wish it was. It'd be nice if it was, but right now it's not what it seems to be. And so, continuing, it says, if love is a litmus test, who are we to say, well, your love is legitimate love, same-sex couples, but your love, father and daughter, is not legitimate, or your love, 1 man and 3 women, is not legitimate, or 1 older man and a 12-year-old child. If love is the litmus test, it becomes a very slippery slope, and that is where we find ourselves today. And again, this was said in 2015, but I think that's a very good observation. I mean, this has been the argument from the beginning from very many conservatives and Christians as far as with the understanding of what love is, and how are we trying to define that, or how are we determining that, because we say love is love, which is yes, but what is love? And not a lot of people can really answer that accordingly, because love is not lust, which seems to be, you know, the case for a lot of different things, to include heterosexual couples, that lust is the leading factor. So it's like understanding, having that firm understanding of what marriage actually is instead of changing it to the whims of what people want. And that's kind of where I see that conversation. But yeah, love is love, but what is love and what is not love? And, you know, there's different kinds of love and different loves that require things, and there's a whole thing about agape love and all the other loves that are mentioned in the Bible, because not all love is the same love, but love is love. It's weird. Continuing, in one 2015 post, Barnett attacked the transgender former reality star and Olympic champion Caitlyn Jenner as deformed and demonic, while attacking what she called a barrage to normalize sexual perversion. In comments in the same post, Barnett warned of a takeover occurring by the homosexual agenda. This is 2015. Okay, she seems to be ahead of her time. She seems to be ahead of her time. But no comment. There's a whole song about coming for your children.
But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it.
That was supposed to be satire, but I don't know if it was, and all the things about kids needing to be taught about sex and gender, and like when they're in the 3rd grade and they just need to be focusing on being kids and not that. It doesn't, I don't know. She saw the future. On another show from the same time, Barnette hosted 2 ex-gays to show the real story behind all those happy gay photos we see and God's redemptive story in both of their lives. One conversation featured the president of Parents and Friends of Ex-Gays and Gays, PFOX. In one post from 2010, Barnette wrote, "The homosexual agenda seeks domination." In a post in 2013, Barnette said America couldn't coexist with the homosexual agenda. "The aggressive homosexual agenda is coming soon to a kitchen table near you," she wrote. So it sounds like she's been very consistent in her views. I feel like she's probably been less vocal about them as of late just because the cultural tide has turned, but I would grant that she probably still feels the same. But, I mean, this wasn't meant to be a post to attack homosexual behavior activity, though I will say that if you're in an environment that there are people who will say that they lived a homosexual lifestyle, that they still have homosexual urges, but are willing to deny those desires in order to live for Christ. And so that's not, I mean, like, people have their stories.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more.
And there's been various organizations that attest to that, and just as far as their own personal testimonies. And so I think we do a disservice, especially when you're coming from the leftist side and you're saying that conversion therapy is an attack on oneself or blah, 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 blah. But it's just like you need to allow people to still have those options available for them without necessarily feeling like attacked or anything. So I think there's more to discuss there. Continuing, it says, in tweets and posts, Barnette frequently target Islam and Muslims. In one post on her website, Barnette shared an obviously doctored image of a Muslim man holding up a sign in front of the rubble of the World Trade Center that said, "Vote Democrat, we need your help to kill you." Speaking in December 2015 in a speech posted online, Barnette argued it was acceptable to discriminate against Muslims and Islam, comparing it to rejecting the worldviews of Stalin and Hitler, leaders who systematically discriminated against the ordering the killing of millions of people, including Jews with disabilities, Slavs, and gay men. "You are not a racist if you reject Islam or if you reject Muslims, because they are not a race of people. They are a particular view. They are people that have a particular view of the world, and we have a right to discriminate against worldviews," she said. "We discriminated against Hitler's Nazi Germany view of the world, right? That was a worldview. It was a worldview. That's how he saw the world around him, and we discriminated against it. We rejected it. We rejected Stalin's view of the world, right? Because that's a particular view of the world that we don't agree with," which, again, is kind of the point. And so, I mean, she's continuing this, but this kind of goes along the lines of what I've been saying in other videos, that everyone has a particular religion, everyone has a specific way that we view the world, and we have to be able to, and again, discriminate against the things that we do want or don't want, and that's a conversation that we need to have as a country. There are some things that we as a society need to hold as acceptable. There are things as a society that we need to hold as unacceptable, but it still needs to be a conversation to be had to go more towards a more perfect union. So like, I get that we're still in this cultural divide, but we can't ever get to unity, and I feel like some people don't want unity, which it is what it is, if we're still constantly yelling at one side or trying to overpower or refusing to listen or just la 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 la, I don't care what you're saying, or being completely incoherent with your argument. So I would agree with her as well on that. It's just as far as with worldviews, everyone has a particular worldview. I don't want to live with people who have a worldview that rape is okay and that it's okay to go around and take what you want. It's okay to go around and kill whomever you want. Like, I don't want people who have that worldview, and that should be. And I want my laws and the people around me to support that particular worldview. Me personally, just as an example. But continuing. Oops. Okay, so she tweeted in 2015, "There's nothing rational about Islam." In another, she wrote, "Pedophilia is a cornerstone of Islam." I don't know about all that, but I don't know about all that. I just know Christianity is the truth. In 2019, Barnette attacked Democratic Republican Rashida Tlaib of Michigan for comments she made about Trump, tweeting she was a Muslim in all capital letters. "Aren't you all so glad you voted in the first openly Palestinian Muslim?" Sarcasm for y'all who don't get sarcasm, wrote Barnette. Spread conspiracy theories Obama was a Muslim. Barnette also frequently, I actually never really followed the story of President Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama, whether he was Muslim or not. Like, I don't know. I thought, his name, I don't know. I don't know if that's really important or not, but whatever. Anyway, so Barnette also frequently shared the conspiracy theory that Obama, who is a Christian, was Muslim. One tweet derided Obama as a Muslim or from another country. On her radio show and in speeches, Barnette frequently called Obama by his full name, Barack Hussein Obama, apparently to imply he was Muslim. "We have a president in office right now, Barack Hussein Obama," she said in 2015 in a speech. "I tried to mention his name as much as possible, thinking that at some point a light bulb was going to go off in someone's head. Don't we get it? Obama is a Muslim," read one tweet in January 2016. "Obama is a Muslim doing Muslim things," read one 2016 tweet. One 2015 tweet calls him Muslim Obama. Yeah. So the thing with Muslim and Islam, I don't really have a big comment on that. I would have to do more research. But that was the article, and I don't know. I think for some things she was looking into the future at where we are now. Others she may have been, again, kind of swept into some other things. I don't know. Every human is not without their faults and their flaws. But if I'm just looking at all the candidates, which I haven't, if we're looking at Oz, if we're looking at McCormick, if we're looking at Kathy Barnette, I'm more inclined to vote for her, but I'm not a Pennsylvanian, so I don't really have a say in any of that. But I just wanted to push this video out. This is kind of a sidetrack from the other content that I've been wanting to create, just because I know that these elections are coming up soon, so I think if I can push out some information about her, that it can. So I think that piece was meant to be an attack on her, especially towards typical leftist-minded people, liberal-minded people who will hear those words. And I hear those words, I'm like, oh yeah, that I can see how people might look at that and be like, that's a personal attack at someone's existence or something. But I don't know, my mind doesn't work the same as other people's. But those are just my thoughts. What are your takes on Kathy Barnette? Do you think she has a hope of winning the Senate for Pennsylvania? I'd like to see it. I don't know. I think it'd be cool. I think she might be a voice to help turn the tide, but who knows? Let me know what you think. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.